And then I called Susan, the hero of the film, because she realized we needed a new kind of narrative film about the death penalty, what you'd call the master narrative kind of predictable, formulaic film that had been in the United States up to the time of Dead Man Walking was. The whole film was about, is he innocent, guilty? Is she innocent, guilty? Okay, yeah, we find out they're guilty. Ends with the execution. Justice is done. End of film. End of reflection. And she said, we have to bring and keep bringing the audience over to both sides of this suffering. Because what we're told, oh, this is the way we're going to help a victim's family. We're going to get justice for them. If somebody killed your daughter, how would you feel about their getting life in prison? They're alive and she's dead forever. Only one justice, one way of justice, and that is, if they kill, they deserve to die too. And we're going to do this for the victim's family. And she said, we have to explode that. We have to show. And the film, Tim Robbins felt very happy when victims' families were getting in touch with him after the film Dead Man Walking came out, because they saw how sensitively he dealt with victims' families. And by sensitive means, no caricatures. What do you expect of a victim's family? A father's daughter has been killed. You see him screaming into the TV lens, I want to kill him with my own hands. I wish I could pull the switch. I want to see him experience pain. A caricature of a human being who's in great trauma, outrage, grief, all in chaos inside himself. And so they show in the film Dead Man Walking, you have the Percys who come to the whole thing about the death penalty. Yes, this is what we think justice will be. They go through the film, they witness the execution, they walk off the screen, and as far as we know about the Percys, they're fine with that. They don't have any questions. But then the other victim's family, Earl Delacroix, whose son had been killed, you see that he wants the execution too. This is what everybody's telling him. This is what justice is going to be. And then we see him after the execution coming to me again there at the graveyard. They're just burying Matthew Poncelet. And he goes, I don't know why I'm here. Clearly in his face, you know that witnessing the execution was not enough. And then Susan gave us these lines in the film too. Sister, he says, I don't have your faith. And she says, it's not faith, it's work. We have to, play a part in this. Maybe we can find a way together. And the film actually ends with prayer. It actually ends with my praying with Earl Delacroix, who in the book of Dead Man Walking was really Lloyd LeBlanc, whose son had been killed, and I would go to this chapel to pray with him. And he's the real hero of the book, because he's a man who was thrown into the crucible of suffering, losing his only son, and found a way out of it through forgiveness, which he said people see as weakness. In this society, everybody thinks forgiveness is weak, like you're condoning it. Oh, you killed my son, I forgive you, means it's okay. It's not okay. Could never condone it. But his journey, and he's the most exciting one, I think, in the whole Revelation. Everybody goes through a change in a film, in a good film. And as Susan Sarandon said to Sean Penn, the one who goes through the most change is the hero of the story. And of course, that's Sean Penn dealing with what he did and finally owning it and taking responsibility. But the victim's family goes through change too. Because, as Lloyd LeBlanc, the real guy in the story, told me, Sister, everybody was saying to me, Lloyd, you lost your only son. You gotta be for the death penalty or look like you didn't love David. You gotta be for it. Or what's wrong with you? He said, that's all I was hearing. Sister, you weren't there, and I wasn't. That was my big sin. And the way he came through it was, He said, I went there. I said, they're right. I see how my wife's suffering, my daughter, all of us. And he said, I want to pull the switch. I went to that place, he said. I want to see their pain. They caused us pain. I want to see their pain. I want to see them die for what they did. And then he reached a point and he said, and he did his hand like this. And he said, they killed my son, but I'm not going to let them kill me. Because I've always been a kind person. I love to help people. It's just who I am. And I was losing it. I was becoming this person filled with this hatred and this bitterness. They killed my son, but I'm not letting them kill me. And I'm going to do what Jesus said. And he set his face to go down the road. The last words in Dead Man Walking are about this man. And the last sentence of the book is, forgiveness was never going to be easy. Each day it must be prayed for, struggled for, and won. And I've found in dealing with victims' families, who is the community around them? What tidal pool are they in? What else is going on in their life? The people I've found who are the most isolated or haven't had solid, good relationships and family get fixated on the execution as a way that they're going to do the right thing for their son or daughter. And poor parents. I mean, nobody's a perfect parent. And then suddenly your child is killed. And so all of those things, whatever guilt, which everybody has, and because this culture of ours says this is how you really show you love your child, you're for the death penalty. And this is what we're going to do for you. And it re-victimizes them so often. I mean, that's why when New Jersey did away with the death penalty about 4 years ago, 62 murder victims' families testified before the legislature, said, don't kill for us. The death penalty re-victimizes us. You're telling us we're going to wait 10, 15, maybe 20 years, and then you're going to summon us to a place where we can send a representative to watch you kill the one who killed our loved one, and that's supposed to heal us? And they're getting a kind of notoriety. Nobody knows the name of the victims. Everybody knows Ted Bundy. Everybody knows Timothy McVeigh. Everybody knows the name. It's a kind of notoriety they get, and we're even more lost. And our wound is open in public, so the media can come to us every time there's a change in the disposition or status of the case, because it's public knowledge. Well, how do you feel now? You got another stay of execution. And it just keeps jerking them around. And so more and more of them have figured out that doesn't heal us. We need to be able to build our family back together. And if we never hear his name again, if he goes into prison and we never hear his name again, that is a way we can begin to move on with our lives, because his life will be settled.